The Disney classic Dumbo is back with yet another one of Disney's live-action reboots. But the big question is, did we even need it?
Well, I'll tell you, Elizabeth, as a critic, I see a lot of sequels and reboots and remakes, and I'm perfectly capable of going to a movie like The Grinch and saying, well, I don't know if we needed another one of these, but it's fine. Yet at every one of these Disney live-action remakes of one of their animated classics, I sit there going, why does this movie exist? I mean, on some level, I know it's a commercial enterprise. It seems like the hook is almost a theme park novelty of people going and watching a beloved cartoon turned into live action. But what really is the point? It is this kind of novelty and this obsession that Disney has. Now they're gonna strip mine all their animated films. But watching Dumbo, I never really felt like I knew why this movie existed.
Right, and you mentioned that Disney is bringing back a lot of their animated classics. Of course, just this year, in addition to Dumbo, there's Lion King and Aladdin. There's more hype around them. You know, Aladdin and Lion King are huge commercial hits, movies that people, I think, really love. Dumbo, to me, is anybody really holding on to Dumbo?
Well, I don't necessarily begrudge that, in that some of the titles you mentioned are more recent. They're huge hits. Obviously, there will probably be a huge number of people who are going to go out to see The Lion King. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with Disney within that saying, let's go back to a movie like Dumbo, which was an extraordinarily idiosyncratic movie. Came out in 1941. It's only an hour long. Dumbo only flies in the last 5 minutes of that movie. And what studio executive today would have allowed that? They say, yeah, we need a Dumbo flying scene within, the first 3 beats. And that's what happens here. My feeling about Tim Burton's film was that I liked Dumbo. I didn't go for the movie around him, which seemed kind of busy, noisy, mechanical, didn't really have the soul of the original cartoon. And the other thing is, it didn't seem like that much of a Tim Burton movie to me. It seems like the Tim Burton concept, his sympathy with these kind of freakish outsiders, is very thin in this movie.
Well, I think that you make a great point, Owen, which is that the original 1941 animated version of Dumbo, the simplicity of it is probably what really added to the charm. I mean, I think that it is just a family-friendly movie, but let's go back to Tim Burton. You said it doesn't really feel like a Tim Burton film, and of course with Tim Burton, it can be really, really good, or it can be really, really bad, right?
Well, Tim Burton, at this point, he's made something like 18 feature films. He's had a hit-or-miss career. But I look back at his catalog, and I think that the difference between a Tim Burton movie that works and one like this that's kind of meh is always, do you have a powerful personality at the center of it? But this movie is filled with actors playing noisy characters who are not necessarily so charming and don't necessarily draw us, whether it's Colin Farrell playing the cowboy circus hero, father of two, very kind of straight and I would say sort of dull performance, or Danny DeVito as the Carney Barker head of the circus, giving a typically broad Danny DeVito performance. And then finally, Michael Keaton comes into it as this entrepreneur who buys DeVito out.
Is that a monkey in your desk?
Just for emergencies. Look, Mr. Vanderveer, I probably should tell you, the elephant is not for sale.
And so I don't think there's really much of interest going on at all with any of the human characters in this movie. It's all Dumbo. And, he's still sort of cute and touching. I was caught up in his story to a degree, but only to a degree.